I found some some more to chew on. Um, and I apologize for the long videos. This one will be short, but I think this one might be valuable for going back in the history. So on this one, I was trying to find like a historical precedence, provenance. Like when did this first take off? My favorite tool for doing that is if you go to Google Ngrams. Have you ever heard of it? In the 1990s, turn of the century, Google scanned all the books at University of Michigan, University of Berkeley, some here at the University of Utah, and they put all of that together in a database. So you could type in something like computer, and you can see when that word takes off. And here you can see that it's like, 1960, 1980. But you can use this to see when did something exist. So you don't have to put it in quotes, which is confusing on this one. But I found in the literature that they don't like hyphenating it as much. So if you look at pretrial diversion and do a search, you can see the lead up to it is post 1960s. So the 1970s is when they were starting to do research on this. Part of that research will be feasibility studies and cost analyses and things like that. And even though they're horribly outdated, it might have been convincing enough to set the precedent for it. And you could do case insensitive too, in case it's capitalized or it's all. But you could see 1980 was like a big moment where this must be where it was implemented, right? So the preceding years. So if you go, I found Department of Justice. How did I find that? So first of all, USA.gov. All the documents, probably only going back to the 1990s, can let you see pretrial diversion. And I was hoping to find something old in here, and I found this Department of Justice link right here. But also you can see an overview of things going on like Tennessee, Indiana, specific counties. There's some analyses, but it seems like it's a convention now. So it's what we do because it worked in the past. How do we find that information about how it worked in the past? In a weird way, this is where we go to books. And I had done this before, but I was only looking for scholarly articles. So if you go into books, this is where we get like some of the more historic and sometimes atavistic. But here we have 1975 cost analysis of correctional standards, pretrial diversion. So 5 years before that big implementation, the government was paying people to look at this. That's going to be a good one. And I click on it and nothing happens. Good Lord. Well, you get the idea. You click like that. I'm not going to, you can discover that. Also, redesigning financial regulation. This one, even though it's from 2007, in the context of everything, this might have been somebody revisiting it. So go through that one. It looks like it's a textbook. So use it lightly, but don't use it as scholarly work, but maybe use the facts and then find scholarship on that. Maybe like what triggered this pretrial. So if you go to the Department of Justice, they say they're trying to reduce period of supervision. They're interested in human rights, so like restitution to communities. And this is the big one that you were talking about, like how to save prosecutorial and judicial resources. So they give you some of those major objectives, but what triggered that? Was this like Jimmy Carter? Was it Ronald Reagan? All of those different things might show up in the library catalog in this right here. But if you look at these, a lot of them like go back to the 1970s. There's a handbook, and it's checked out from the law library. But if you come across anything in here that looks good, my clicker's not working. If you come across something that looks good, you can request chapters through interlibrary loan, so you don't have to get a hold of the book. So just look for, there's the summary. Maybe you could get chapters somehow, but let me know if that's of interest to you, and I can help you narrow those things down. But having said all that, I think looking for books, and this one might be a really good one to go with.